Back on Radio Row, we've just been speaking to Terrell Davis. We talked about the Broncos and those Super Bowl victories, and now we get to speak to a former teammate of his, a guy who was on the same flight out here, as both of them told me while we're chatting, and one of our favourites on Radio Row, Ed McCaffrey. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, thank you. Good to see you again.
Thank you so much for coming on. We always really appreciate it. I said it's a little bit weird, but your son's bobblehead is sat in front of you on the table that we got from going to a Stanford game. So
it looks like he needs a haircut. We're going to update the bobblehead.
We spoke with Christian on Monday at the Pro Bowl, and I don't know if you will have seen this season. Yeah. We went and did play-by-play of the game in Philadelphia for the Eagles 49ers, and
right.
San Francisco shared some of our
Great
calls.
Call.
And he went
Great call, by the way. I saw it too. I think I sent it to him. I might have been the one that sent that to him.
Oh, he said he heard from more people about the call than he did about the play itself. So, yeah, that was really special for me, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. Great call. Yeah, you deserved it. You earned it. Keep making great calls. We'll keep promoting them.
This is just me growing the ego, going bigger and bigger. I'm going to need one of those big outside booths like the serious guys have in the not too distant future, just to deal with my head. Ed, what are you doing down here? What's the row bringing to you this year?
Oh, you know what? We're back here with McCaffrey Brands snacks and mustards and horseradishes. As people who have listened to the show before, at least last year when I was down here, we've been selling delicious premium mustard and horseradish sauces since 1998. And they're the best in the world. Spicy brown, yellow. We come up with really creative combinations like chipotle and sriracha. We're coming out with a smoky horseradish. And we take a lot of pride in it. I don't pick out the labels. My wife, Lisa, picks out the labels. So every time we have a new line, I'm wearing some kind of hat, which is kind of fun. But we sell on Amazon. We sell at Kroger, which is King Soopers in Colorado, and Safeway stores. And we also have our Healthy Protein Bites snack. We entered into that category last year and launched our McCaffrey Brands Protein Bites right before the Super Bowl a year ago, and they've been very well received.
Amazing.
Yeah, hope you like them. So, I mean, we wanted in the beginning to make good food taste better with our mustard and horseradish sauces, and then we started wanting to make healthy food taste great. And that's not easy to do. It's kind of hard to do.
I've got to tell you, most of the food I've had here in the media center has been pretty dry as well, so those sauces are going to come in handy.
And now we have granola. Granola's coming out as well, so look for it. We have 3 great flavors, and they're super healthy snacks. Lisa and I are a family of 4 boys that play sports, and what you put into your body is important. And we're looking for healthy snacks for them to eat, to take to school, to eat before, during, and after games, to keep their fuel levels where they need to be. Because as you know, if you're around kids, if they don't get their sleep or if they don't eat properly,
oh, I know,
they're difficult to raise. So it was always important. And some of our kids have allergies, and all of our snacks are great for people that are intolerant to gluten or other bad chemicals that are put in so many foods today. So super healthy, super delicious. Hope you guys like them. Try Amazon.com. You can order them today.
Love that. We spoke to TD a little bit about this, and he was very proud that you'd said this, but the other day you compared Christian to TD during a radio interview. What inspired that link? Why do you see that between those two individuals?
Yeah. Well, someone had asked me about it, and they both have unique styles. But Christian grew up watching TD. That's the exciting part of the story. He was in the Broncos locker room when he was a little kid, playing Power Rangers with Shannon Sharp and hanging out with me and Rod Smith and watching TD. Matter of fact, the last time the Super Bowl was here at Levi Stadium, he had a TD jersey on, watching the Broncos play the Panthers. Yeah. And then a few months later, he was drafted by the Panthers. But that was his childhood team, and so he watched him. He plays in the same offense. Mike Shanahan, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Do you have a Hall of Fame vote? I'm asking everyone.
I don't.
Let's get the man in the Hall of Fame. It's overdue. But he grew up running in that West Coast style offense. TD perfected it. In that offense, we had a coach, pretty good offensive line coach named Alex Gibbs, who insists that you stick your foot in the ground and get up the field. You do not lose yards on run plays, ever. Your job's to get 4 yards. If it's blocked well, you'll get more. And TD knew that, and he was so good at setting up his blocks, understanding how the defense was going to react to the particular run play that we had in what was our stretch or outside zone plays or inside zone plays, sticking his foot in the ground and getting upfield. So Christian watched that and kind of learned from him. And in this West Coast offense that he runs now, he understands what we're trying to accomplish and how to set your blocks up and get upfield. But Christian obviously is a much bigger threat out of the backfield as a receiver. So, along those lines, a guy like Marshall Faulk would be more similar in terms of his ability as a dual threat. But, I said it before and I'll say it again. TD was 101. He just hit the NFL by storm, 101, Marshall Faulk's 101, Christian's 101. There's nobody that does what he does in the history of the NFL. So the 3 great running backs, and I guess I say, Christian style, they're all different, but somewhere between those two, TD and Marshall Faulk, because of his ability as a receiver, but also his ability to run between the tackles, stick his foot in the ground, and get upfield.
When we did speak with Christian on Monday, I asked him about his health, because one thing we have seen in NFL history, and we saw it with Saquon this year, is when you have over 400 touches in a year, it's very difficult to come back 7 months later and have another real season where you do that. I mean, he was so pivotal for the 49ers this year to get them to that divisional round. But, I mean, from what you see from him, from when you speak to him and interact with him, can we expect the same level of workload next year? Do you think he's going to be able to keep pushing?
I don't know what the workload is, but I know he feels great. I just talked to him yesterday. He was at the Pro Bowl game, and I know they only do 7-on-7, but he's like, man, this is the best I've felt in a long time after a season. And he did have a lot of touches. But, back when I was a kid, man, I watched players like Walter Payton, and I don't know, he played, 13 years, and, watched Emmitt Smith, he played 15 years. I mean, this whole thing with running backs, they talk about the age, but I don't know why. I think running backs really get screwed when it comes to the salary cap and when it comes to the different ways that they control individual players' salaries. But you look at guys like Christian, who almost had 1,000 this year. You look at guys like Derrick Henry. What's he been doing the last couple of years? So the age thing is a myth. He wants to play forever. Christian wants to play till he's 40. And he takes incredible care of his body. He's religious, every day about his rehab, his recovery, his workout routines, and he loves football. So I don't see why not. He had such an incredible season, and when you really look at the adversity the 49ers had, they had a quarterback swap there for a while when Brock was injured, and Brock came back and did great, but Mac Jones did great. When he got his chance, Kittle was down for part of the time. They never really had their number 1 receiver going into the season take a snap. Ricky Pearsall was hurt throughout the year. Juwan Jennings, man, he's a tough dude, because I know he had something he was dealing with the whole season. So the team was a little banged up and battered, and so, he was used in the run game and in the passing game.
I never expected this to go in a 49ers direction, but as a guy who did know Mike so well and knew Kyle growing up as well, this feels to me like, while he's not got the championship yet, the greatest coaching job. To be able to achieve what he's achieved with everything that went around him. And I think there are still, weirdly, despite his amazing record, some doubters in him. I think anyone that would ever doubt him surely was quietened this year.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, he's my coach of the year. Obviously, I'm biased, but when you look at the adversity, and let's just talk about the defense as well. Fred Warner gone. He's a captain. He's one of the best players in the NFL. Bosa gone. He's one of the best players in the NFL. And then every week someone was going down.
Michael Williams was such a huge loss.
Yeah, he's such a great player, such a great young player. And he goes down, and then they were banged up. And give credit to the guys that had to step up who hadn't taken snaps. They really did a great job of competing, which created an incredible culture in the locker room. Those guys, every now and again you see a team, even though they don't get to the Super Bowl, it's a team that grew closer and closer together because of the mutual respect they have for each other. And that was a lot of it was the young guys stepping up and competing and finding ways to get wins. They had 12 wins, and they were playing with guys they signed in December in the playoffs, right? That was
unbelievable.
And so it speaks to the job that Kyle Shanahan did as a head coach, and I think it speaks volumes about the guys that were able to take the field without some of their leaders and their captains and the guys that have been so successful in the past. And they bonded and somehow found a way to get wins down the stretch. Wheels came off in the playoffs, but, man, they were down so many guys by then, and I think fatigue set in, and they got beat by a really good team who will probably go on to win the Super Bowl. But what a heck of a year by Kyle.
Two last topics I want to touch on with you. You actually briefly touched on what is a personal bugbear of mine and has been for many years.
Yeah.
And actually, listen, when Bill Belichick didn't go to the Hall of Fame this year, I understood why there was the uproar. I understood why there was so much controversy around it. But I nearly swore on UK radio then. The reason it annoyed me more than anything else is they only put one coach up every year, and it means that Mike Shanahan is not going to go in 2027 because that will be Bill Belichick, and so he's going to be waiting at least 2 more years. And for me, he should have been in the Hall of Fame 10 years ago.
It makes no sense whatsoever. And I know that the people who try to put the rules together
the modern offense is essentially built by Mike Shanahan.
I think
the league looks completely different
look at his coaching tree with the LaFleurs and obviously McVay and his son Kyle and Raheem Morris, who now just signed on as a D coordinator, and Robert Saleh, and the list goes right on down the line. And the Kubiak kids who are now getting head coaching jobs, and
100%.
Gary, like you look at his tree, he's half the league.
Yeah.
And the influence he's had is immeasurable. Not to mention that Coach Mike Shanahan and Coach Bill Belichick are the only two coaches left that won back-to-back Super Bowls that are not in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, they both belong in the Hall of Fame. But you're right, they allow one coach in, and there's, other categories of trying to let people in. But in my opinion, when you know, you know. Like, you can ask anybody. It's like you win 2 Super Bowls back-to-back. You're one of the winningest coaches in history. Your team beat in your championship games and in the playoffs coaches that are already in the Hall of Fame. Coaches in the Hall of Fame are saying he belongs in the Hall of Fame. What are we doing? Like, maybe make an exception. Maybe put them both in.
I have for a long time advocated for this, and not to make it too much like a reality TV show, but like the Simon Cowell golden buzzer. I think Roger Goodell should just be able to say, right, Bill Belichick has retired this year. He's going in the Hall this year. We're not going to wait for the time off. We're not going to wait for eligibility and votes and anything else. Tom Brady retires, put him in the Hall of Fame straight away. I just don't see I think it's just a great way to celebrate somebody. It'll have to be special cases, but those are 2 people I think with both Mike and with Bill Belichick who deserve that. And I've got to ask about this Broncos team.
Oh yeah,
So near. So far, but you came on last year and you absolutely went to bat for Bo Nix, and the Broncos fans in the comments were loving it, and have listened.
Well, I told you, I knew he had what it took. I was heartbroken that he somehow broke his ankle, and I don't know how exactly it happened, but we found out about it right after he centered the ball for the field goal kicker, thinking how in the world could he possibly have gotten hurt in that situation? But if you know football, you can get hurt and you keep playing, and then something happens later. That's the nature of the sport. But he's one hell of a quarterback, had a great year, so bummed that he got hurt. And Jarrett Stidham came in, and look, he was put in a really bad position. You hadn't played in 2 years, and now you're playing against the Patriots in a championship game, and that's a difficult position to be in. And then the snow came down, and no one could do anything offensively in the second half. But Bo Nix is the real deal. The Denver Broncos are the real deal. I was hoping for a Niners-Broncos Super Bowl. That's what I was hoping for. And I wanted, that's like my family. The Broncos are my family. The 49ers are my family. There's so many people that coached with me or that were with me in Denver that are now in San Francisco. These are 2 wonderful organizations that I was rooting for, but it's not to be, unfortunately. But now I watch the games and see guys like Sam Darnold, who was on the Niners a couple years ago and is a great guy and got his wonderful family, and I root for on both sides. I root for my friends and the people that I care about now. I don't have a dog in the hunt here in terms of who I'm rooting for to win the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for the guys I like on both teams. But the Broncos are for real. If you listen to head coach Sean Payton during training camp, he mentioned, and I couldn't believe he said it, but he's like, I only coached a handful of teams in my life that I felt going into the season had a chance to win a Super Bowl. Coach Sean Payton's on record as saying that. And I knew when he said it, he believed it, because he would not throw that out there for no reason. And sure enough, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You always wonder what would have happened if Bo didn't go down. But that was a team that had the ability, if things played out for them, to win a Super Bowl. And I think they'll be right back in it next year.